Welcome to Leveraging Leadership, where we unpack the art of business leadership. I'm your host, Emily Sander, C-suite executive turned leadership coach. In this episode, I want to run through a lens you can look at prioritization and time management through. So where do I spend my time and energy? What activities do I prioritize? The lens you can look at this through is how many outputs do I get from one input? So how many outputs do I get from this one activity or one task that I'm going to decide to spend time and energy on? And this can happen in multiple ways. One example would be, all right, I know this project needs to get done. Everyone's been talking about it. It's been kicked down the road, and it takes multiple teams to work on this. And it's going to be a long time, and I just don't have time to oversee that and get that going. Maybe it's, all right, I'm going to take the 15 to 30 minutes it takes to collect some information, to sort through some data, and compose a kickoff email to the team leads. All right, maybe that sets the ball in motion. So for that one input, and you might be having a day, week, or month where you're like, I don't have 15 to 30 minutes, but this thing keeps getting delayed. So the input is just taking the time to kick that project off with that email. And the output is, okay, team one can start their work, hand off to team two to do their piece, hand off to team three to finish it up, and come back to you with the finished product or the first draft that you and the leadership team can look at. So in that way, it's kind of a boom, boom, boom chain reaction, but it has to be kicked off. And so that input is what allows all those different outputs to transpire. The other way to look at that is saying, all right, if I do this input one versus input two, for input one, it might be, all right, I get kind of like this meh output, yeah, it needed to get done, now it's done, but it didn't give me the biggest bang for my buck. Whereas if I spend my time and energy on input two, boom, I get this whole big output. So something like, I'm going to spend a 4-hour block. I'm going to block off half of my day, and I'm going to go meet with a strategic partner. And this strategic partner is ideal for us in a number of different ways, culture fit, market fit. They have a tech stack we need. We have some leadership pieces that they're looking for. So this could create a lot of synergy. Well, spending the half day, 4 hours for that output to transpire or potentially transpire is a good use of time versus, I don't know, pick kind of a piddly little, like I blocked off a whole bunch of time. It took a lot of effort, and it wasn't really the highest use of my time. How many outputs can I get from my input, or what is the magnitude of the output I can get from this input? Other ways to phrase inputs would be from this piece of work, or from this work, or from this time, or from this unit. A unit of work. So for example, this podcast, this episode right here, this is a unit of work, and it has multiple outputs. So I sit here, I record this, and then there is the video version of the podcast on YouTube. There's the audio version that goes to all the podcast platforms. There are the social media clips, little video clips that I put out there. And then I also do a little bit of a write-up based on what I talk about in my newsletter as well. So one input, multiple outputs. So when you're sitting there as chief of staff going, oh my goodness, there's so much I can choose from to do, and so much that I can spend my time and energy on, how do I think about that? Well, one lens might be, all right, how many outputs do I get from my input or my work or unit of time? So just something to think about. And if you need help prioritizing or sorting through your inputs and outputs, I'd be happy to support you on a free 30-minute clarity call. And I'll have a link for that in the show notes. You can just click on that and schedule something. Not a hidden sales call. It's just me trying to add value to you and your work and your life. And I love kind of sorting through all these things and saying, all right, how can I help someone create clarity and a framework for creating the biggest bang for their buck and getting the most output from their input? So I love that stuff. I work with chiefs of staff on that stuff all the time. I nerd out on that stuff. So if you would like that free 30-minute clarity call, then check out the link in the show notes. Otherwise, go forth, be good leaders, be good chiefs of staff, and I will catch you next week on Leveraging Leadership.
This episode is brought to you by Next Level Coaching. If you or anyone you know would like to learn more about executive leadership coaching, please visit www.nextlevel.coach.